Hi there, my name is Jennifer Dixon. I am a coach here with Fitter and I own Thrive Yoga and Wellness. And today we're going to do a pretty quick yoga video that's going to be focusing on the posterior chain. So we're going to do some stretching, some lengthening, but also some strengthening. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get started in a child's pose. So for this exercise, let's bring our child's pose with our knees together, feet together, hips down close to the heels, and let's rest our foreheads onto the mat. This is Luna. Reach those fingers towards the opposite edge of your mat as you reach your heels towards your hips, towards your heels. Feel the stretch on your back through your lats, your latissimus dorsi on your shoulder blades, and even around your vertebra. From here, we're going to come up to our tabletop. Bring your hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and make sure you've got this neutral spine first so your back is nice and straight. Then dump your belly, look up. My dog, of course, wants lots of attention. And then round through the spine, looking down. Let's do that 2 more times. Drop the belly looking up for a fun cow pose. And then round through the spine like a Halloween cat for our cat pose. And if you got a dog, pet it. Cow pose, warming up the spine. And cat pose. Nice. Now we're going to set those hips right back down. See if it feels better and walk the hands over to the right, stretching out the right side body. You should feel a good stretch along the low back on the left. It's actually the left side body. And maybe, depending on how far over your hands are to the right, you should feel a stretch even into your left triceps. Let's go over towards the right. Maybe pet your pup in the middle. I think I said right. I meant left. Keep your hips pressing into the heels. Feel the stretch from the outer part of your right hip all the way up your right side body. Come back to center. Pull yourself back to this tabletop position. Let's do one more round of cat-cow. And from here, we're going to start to do a little bit of work. So here we are in tabletop position. I'm going to move Lou out of the way just a bit. And then we're going to extend that right leg out. Let's stretch the right foot, right heel is reaching for the ground behind you. It may not touch. If it did, you'd have some super limber Achilles and calf muscles. We're just pushing that right heel back. Feel the tremendous stretch along the Achilles and the calf, maybe the bottom of the foot. Let's drop that right knee down. Bring the left foot out. Do that stretch here on the left-hand side. I felt like a good stretch might be in order before we start to strengthen. And then we're going to bring both knees back into tabletop. Extend that right leg out long again. And then we're going to start to lift the right leg, but only lift the right leg so high that you can keep both hips in line. Notice how your glutes are having to work. That's part of your posterior chain. Don't let your belly sag. So keep that belly nice and firm. Notice how my back is still flat. We're not making any cow backs, but we're also not making any cat backs. So keep yourself nice and firm, nice and straight. Right foot's pressing into the back of the wall, the imaginary wall behind you. Let's set that right knee down and extend that left leg out. Square the hips off. You should have felt your glutes and your hammies working on that here. Let's pick that left leg up. Press that left foot into the imaginary wall behind you. If you have a pet, petting them actually makes this not be quite as difficult, it seems like. But it can also get in the way. She's apparently not getting the hint. Keep that left foot really, really active here. My left butt cheek is talking to me, but so is the right butt cheek. It's stabilizing the hips. You don't want that left butt cheek up really high, but you also don't want it sagging. That right butt cheek is doing all the work to keep everything in line, and the left butt cheek's doing the work to help hold your body up. Let's set that left knee down, and let's come back to this child's pose for just a moment. If you'd rather, you can also do cat-cow. Give your hands a bit of a break. From here, we're going to start to do some pulses. So the exact same movement, but we're going to bend the knees and start to get the hamstring involved a little bit more. But the beauty of this is because you are in this prone position on your hands and knees, you're also getting core work. So don't dump into your low back like this is. Keep your back nice and firm. We're going to extend that right leg out, keeping the hips nice and square. Lift the right leg up. Your gaze is forward slightly, but not up. That's going to crick your neck. Bend the knee. Keep those knees maybe in line with the hips, but don't dump into the low back, and straighten. Bend, straighten for 6 more. 5, right foot's flexed. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Now bend the knee, pulse it up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're not done here. Externally rotate that right hip. Bring the right knee down. Up, down, up. That's 3. 5 more. Up, down, up, down, up, down. 2 more. Up, down. Last one. Up, down. Now we're going to hold it up here. Now we're going to try to kick. Try to get those knees in line with the hips. Kick it out. Bring it in. Kick it out. Bring it in. Good. Out, in, out, in. 3 more. Out, in, out, in. 1 more. Out, in. Bring that right knee down. Sit your hips back. Woo! Your right butt cheek should have been talking to you. But at the same time, this back hamstring should have also been working. We're working that posterior chain because we're holding ourselves up. Let's do this on the other side. You ready? So I'm just switching sides. You're going to extend that left leg out long, endeavoring to keep your hips nice and square. Remember, core is nice and strong here. Lift that left leg up, but don't let the hips get cattywampus. Keep it nice and square. From here, we're going to bend, straighten, bend, straighten. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good job. Don't lock the elbows. Now we're going to keep it bent. Pulse it up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we get the clamshells. Externally rotate that hip. Close it off and lift. And lift. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work. Now we're going to lift it out here and let's kick. Kick. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Left knee in. Set it down. Child's pose. Woo! Your legs should be talking to you. Let's do a cat-cow just to work out some kinks. And then from here, we're going to come to a standing position. Do your downward facing dog first to prep. Then we're going to take that right foot coming forward in between the hands. Bend the right knee a whole bunch. Let's stay up on the toes of the left foot. Bend the right knee a little bit more. Get the belly nice and strong. Hold yourself up here in this crescent lunge. Hands up and overhead. Just having your hands up just works your body a little bit more. So we're going to stay put right here. We're not going to do lots of lunges. We're not going to do lots of movement. A static hold is still building strength, and you've got your body weight here. It's enough weight. If your heart starts to beat too much, you can bring your hands to your heart center. Work to try to bring that right knee over your right ankle. Keep the belly nice and strong. Notice how your right thigh is talking to you, but hopefully your right butt cheek is too, and left hip flexors getting stretched. Okay, look at those right big toes. Take a big step forward with that left leg and join me in a chair pose. Chair pose, you can have your feet together or feet apart, yogi's choice. Toes together, heels apart is how I'm doing it. My hands are at my heart center just because that helps the balance a little bit more. Let's sit a little lower. If you have knee issues or low back pain, just stay up a bit. Squeeze the knees together. I'm going to show you. Squeeze the knees together. If your feet are apart, you can still energetically activate the midline, the inner thighs. When your knees are together, it gives you a little bit more biofeedback that your inner thighs are actively working, pushing those knees together. That helps to bring your energy, all of your balance inwards. It also helps you to activate your core a little better. I'm going to turn away from you. Now we're going to pick up that right foot and set it down at the back of the mat, coming into a crescent lunge on the left. So again, this is just like we did on the other side. Left knee over left ankle. Right leg is back. We're up on the toes of the right foot. Your hands can be here at heart center or up and overhead. It's a little bit more challenging. Sink low into this lunge. Feel the stretch here on the right hip flexor. It's a beautiful stretch for these hip flexors. They tend to get tight over time, especially if you do a lot of sitting. This long static hold is building tremendous strength in the glutes and these thighs. Big, big, strong leg muscles. Maybe I shouldn't say big, but strong muscles. Reaching it here for another 5. Keep the belly in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big step forward, back to your chair pose. Those right ankles, I know mine was talking to me. It's a good stretch for the ankles, the Achilles, the calf. Hold this here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten everything out. Shake it out. And now let's come to a beautiful forward fold. So I'm going to take my feet about hips width distance apart. Soften your knees a whole bunch. Keep them soft. If you have to bend them a bunch, that's fine. With soft knees, roll yourself forward. Clasp opposite elbows and let your head hang heavy. Notice how your hamstrings, that's these muscles on the back of the body, may be a little resistant to relaxation. If they are, bend your knees a little bit more. If you force these flat, straight legs, locked knees, your back may round a whole bunch like this. This is really hard for your back. So bend the knees, allow your low back to relax, and focus the stretch here on the hammies. It's going to feel probably intense at first if you have tight hammies, but over time it'll feel better. Now, if you want, you can add a little swaying side to side. All right, coming to stillness here. Plant those hands out in front of the feet a little bit. Take the feet back to this plank pose. Building a little more strength in the core. I love core work, you know that. Maybe, if you don't, you do now. Hold this here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. For a slow count of 5, we're going to push ourselves forward, then come all the way down to the mat. You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring the toes together. Zipper your legs together like you're channeling your inner little mermaid. Bring your fingertips in line with the chest. Press the pubic bone down into the mat. As you lift your head, neck, chest up off the mat. Little to no weight into these fingertips. Hold this here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's look to the right. Holding it here for 5. Squeeze the elbows together. 4. Feel the great stretch along the left side. 2, 1. Come back to center. Go over to the left. Keep those right shoulders, right elbows back. For 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. Rest it all down. Windshield wiper those legs. You can come right back to where we were, only lifting the upper body. But if you'd like to get the lower body active here and get into those hammies a little bit more, and of course the quad, the core, the glutes, we're going to lift the chest and lift the head. You ready? So on the inhale, you're going to lift the feet, lift the head, hold this here for 5, 4, squeeze the elbows, 3, 2, and 1. Keep holding it here. Reach those arms out and hold this here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Set everything down. This time, rest your head onto your hands. For this exercise, we're going to leave the forehead down on the mat and only lift the arms. This is going to endeavor to make the lower trapezius muscles do some work so the upper traps don't do it. Lower trapezius muscles help us to have better posture. They do lots of things, but in this particular case, it's a really good postural exercise to help strengthen the back body muscles. So bring your hands out in front of you, make a diamond, press your forehead onto the mat. You're going to leave your forehead on the mat and just lift the hands and hold. You ready? All right, here goes my head down to the mat. Hands. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. You can windshield wiper those legs. Did you feel the squeeze happening between the shoulder blades? I hope you did. For this next exercise, you can leave your feet on the mat or you can bring them up with the hands. You ready? Let's do it. Bring the forehead down to the mat. And then let's lift the hands, lift the feet. We're going to hold this here for 5, 4, 3. Suck the belly in. 2 and 1. Set everything down. Rest. Windshield wiper the legs if you need to. Now, I haven't cued this yet, but let's make sure before we move into this swimming type of exercise. Pretend you have a grape underneath your belly button. We don't want to make grape jelly or wine, so suck the belly in a whole bunch. Keep the core nice and engaged to help to protect your grape. We're not making grape jelly. Now, with a nice, strong core, this time instead of just lifting the legs, if you want, you can kick. That's going to get into those legs slightly differently, work the posterior chain a little bit differently. I'm going to leave my forehead down to keep my upper traps out of this game, but I'm still going to pretend to be swimming. So it's almost like a butterfly meets breaststroke, but not really. So what do I mean by that? With the forehead down, I'm going to take my arms from above my head to squeezing them back. This is going to utilize the rhomboids and lower traps. And hopefully with my head down, the upper traps won't do all the work. You ready? So forehead down to the mat. Inhale, lift the feet, lift the hands. Start to kick the feet as you bring the arms back. Bring the arms forward, keep kicking, bring the arms back. Bring the arms forward and back. We're going to do this 5 more. Forward and back. Keep kicking. Forward and back. 3 more. Forward, back, forward, back. Last one. Forward and back. Good job. Bring everything to stillness. We're going to never belly in, push yourself up, then come to your downward facing dog. Not downward facing dog, child's pose. Excuse me. Breathing here. Feel this awesome stretch. Calming everything down. And now that the posterior chain, all those muscles along the back body are nice and strong, let's stretch them out. So you're going to push yourself forward, come to a seated position. Remove the flesh. Let's take that right leg over the left like a figure 4 and stretch out the left hamstring and the right side piriformis glute. This right leg is nice and flexed. Left leg, it's not hanging out willy-nilly. It's active. It doesn't have to be super flexed, but it's definitely active. Feel the stretch along the outer edge of your right butt cheek. It should be talking to you. Walk your hands up. Let's do this on the other side. Extend that right leg out. Cross that left leg over. Keep that left foot nice and flexed as we lean into that right leg, stretching out the right hamstring. Again, you should feel a good stretch here on the outer edge of that left thigh. Come on up. Straighten out the left leg. Take the feet about mat's width distance apart. Remove the flesh if you need to. Take the arms out front. And this time we're going to pretend there's a wall behind our low back. In Pilates, this is called spine stretch forward. We're going to get a little bit into the hammies, but a lot more stretching into the spine. So when you're ready, the low back stays where it is. Bring the belly button to your spine. Reach the hands towards your toes. Now, we're not reaching forward to grab the toes. We can do that maybe. This is an exercise to help your core stay strong while you stretch and make a big capital letter C with the upper back. Let's come up and stack. Do that again. Belly button to spine. Push the back, the small of your belly towards the back wall as you reach the hands forward. Stack it back up. One more time, belly button to spine, low back to the wall behind you as you round forward with the upper back. Set it back up, bring the feet together, and then we're going to roll all the way down for your final resting pose, your Shavasana pose. Thank you so much for joining me in today's session. Again, my name is Jennifer Dixon. I'm a coach here with Fitter, and I am also a yoga and Pilates instructor at Thrive Yoga and Wellness. I hope you had fun, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.